Hello, everybody. Test, test. Can you hear me? I think you can.
No.
Can you hear them?
No one can hear you, Scott.
Perfect. All right, I think we're good.
Space, no
we're
one
good.
can hear you scream.
Oh, Jesus, Ezek. Should I just turn off that thing? Should I disable it during non-Kingmaker streams?
Anything Kingmaker related is banned here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ah, that makes sense.
Except, well, you know, no. Hold on. Except for Tesh. Tesh is best boy. He can show.
All right, and Jake too. Neil's pretty good. Neil's pretty good as well. Rayren, no, but
All right, the point, guys.
Correct.
What is it?
What?
It's with the 4, the word letter number 4.
Okay.
I think. But you had a special one.
You did.
Yeah.
Oh, hey Scott. Hey, it's nice to see you. Thank you for coming to the stream.
There it is.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So, hi everybody. I missed you. We were actually, the reason why we started a little bit late is because we were chatting in the backgrounds because we haven't talked to each other like full on in a long. Josh, that is
Okay, you know, I mean, I got it now.
I mean,
I'm just a joke to you guys.
Sorry, we're looking at.
It's just a joke. I don't know why I have that on command.
Oh, I only
Waka.
put one T. Hold on.
Yep.
Why does it take us so long to start? Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh. 8. All right. Can I beat Will?
Oh yeah, you absolutely.
No,
can.
you've never. I don't think you've ever gone over 10.
I've never gone over 10. All right.
It's all right. I'm a mess today.
I hope he rolls bad, because then it's an omen for tonight.
No, that's a 15.
Oh no!
Hey, you plus Josh. You plus Josh is 18.
And we still fall short of doxing.
Remember that, ladies, we're legal.
Oh no!
Together.
Ooh. You don't get to just say I'm gonna go
God.
have sex with a 3-year-old and a 15-year-old, and that makes it legal.
Why don't we move on?
Yeah.
Whoa!
But,
Whoa!
okay.
That's not what I was saying. That's not what I was saying.
Okay. Opposite direction. I'm almost legal twice.
That's right. You're old. You're older. You're older than everybody.
That's
that I
all
know.
right. I'm okay with that. That's pretty okay.
Yeah, my stomach hurts now.
Man,
But-
everyone except for Josh is hotter than me today. It must be cool out.
That's fair. That's fair. It's just, that's legit. All these numbers are true.
It's funny. It was 82 degrees out today, and Josh is like, "It's kind of cold today," and I'm like,
I don't know.
"Oh boy, I can't wait till winter. I can't
I
wait."
don't know what
Yeah,
82
it
is.
scares
What is-
me.
Hold on. What is 82 in Celsius?
82, I would assume, is like 24,
It's 27. Almost 28.
27.
That's hot.
Yeah, right.
That's hot.
Josh is like, "Oh, it's pretty cold."
It was nice out. Yeah. Scott's daughter was like, "No, it's no.
So, right now,
I'm going inside.
It is right now. It's about 66 Fahrenheit where I live. And then earlier today,
77 down here.
Earlier today, it got up to a whopping 72.
It's 77 in my basement right now.
Scott, he's talking about Celsius. It's crazy.
Oh no, we're all burning alive here. It's a real problem. Volcano erupted, I think. I shouldn't joke about that. There is actually one pretty.
No, it's not funny with the whole thing that happened recently. That poor town. Oh man.
Oh fuck yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What are we referring to?
Beirut. Had a
Oh,
mess.
Beirut. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Sorry.
The pictures are horrifying.
Can we
Like-
just move on before we upset anyone?
You know,
Yeah.
we're really bad at this.
Well,
It's bad. Like the meds must be working because I'm the one that's away.
Oh no, she's not gonna like us anymore.
oh no, Doxy, you have to be my friend. Doxy, you need to stop taking the medication so you can be my friend. Okay?
No.
That's the rules.
Absolutely no.
That's the rules.
Hey.
No. It worked. Listen, it worked out so great for Kanye. Come on. Oh, I'm just kidding.
Oh, stop.
All right, so you know when we were gonna move on and like start like doing the show maybe.
being topical and things are blowing up. So
Welcome to King.
again.
Welcome to Throw King. Throw Keeper.
Why would you use the words blowing up, Scott? Why?
all right, moving on.
You know what? I understand that person's boss now. I get it.
A rice bunny. Hey, bunny, I'm sorry.
Welcome to Throne Keeper. We haven't played in a while. This is the start of a new season. It's all very exciting.
And we love each other and miss each other.
Yeah, Scott hasn't seen any of us in a while, except for Josh, who he saw earlier today. So,
Naked.
well, all right. Regardless,
Half
we're doing a show today, everybody.
Bottom half.
For the
I got
first
yelled
time
at
in
by
a long
Daddy.
time. And we need to end on time. So that
I mean, I was Donald Duncan
your
all
boy
day.
can go to sleep and hate his life and his day job. So, please, let's continue.
Does anybody else feel like they just got scolded by Daddy? No? Okay.
I
moving
mean,
on.
I could say
Scott,
something
only-
depressing again, so I'm not gonna.
Only you get to call me Daddy, Scott.
I'm cool with it. That makes you grandpa to everybody else. So, last time you guys more or less had a long conversation. And by you guys, I mean literally guys, since the girl was doing dishes, or I should say dish, for a long period of time.
One teacup
yeah,
for
one teacup.
an eternity. I would stab Spot.
It's like an espresso size too. It's like
Yeah. Just literally the finger swish over and over again.
Josh, can you do me a favor? Can you Google that word real quick? Espresso, can you Google it and tell me how many X's are in it?
espresso.
Okay, there you go. I got you. It's like
I was
it's like
thinking
Typhling.
it,
I
but
got you.
I didn't say it. and
He
you guys-
did that earlier too. He did that earlier today too.
Hey Josh, can you just put your hands like right here behind your head for me for a second? All right, thank you. And just keep them there the whole show, please.
Oh, because this is driving you nuts.
Yeah.
Here. I'll
Actually,
do this.
no. There's a better option. Put a green piece of paper behind. No.
There you go.
Oh, it's so weird. All right.
Okay, can we? Yeah.
Fine. Look at my plain place.
All right, Van Sexel is saying start. So we will start for Van. Van, I got you. Last session, you guys, again, I mean guys, because it was, haha, same joke. I had a long conversation with the master, Heathgar is who it was. You know, it was literally the advisor to the throne, to the queen, when it comes to military matters, and had a conversation about what it is that you want to report, et cetera, et cetera. You were pretty candid with him, though I think you kept a little stuff close to your chest. Moving on, and he was more like, yeah, if you're going to go there and make these requests and do this kind of a thing or whatever it was that you described, you're going to have some front lines information. So why don't you go and get that? And if I remember correctly, your characters wanted to go visit one location, while sending others to go and gather information from another location. This was done while you were in Brintel, so you're pretty close to Heplon, but you needed to finish gathering what you needed, the information you needed to go back to Heplon to go and actually speak to the throne. So please remind me, I believe you wanted to actually send scouts over to where ACs and Saul and that front lines. What is the situation happening over there with the actual Yovance soldiers and our soldiers and Paradel because of the recent developments that happened with you guys apparently being chased out and blah, 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 blah. And I think you wanted to head directly south to the actual border where, give me a moment here. Icarus Fetterburst happens to have his own thing going on. Were you guys? Fetterfuck. That's right. I don't think you actually heard the word burst.
We've never heard the word burst.
I mean, I have.
All right. Easy there, cowboy.
I'm so cool.
Thank you on reaching 1,000, Van. That's very much appreciated. Thank you. Moving on. So you, did I say 1,000? I think I went 100.
Yeah. It's 100.
I
You said
immediately
1,000?
looked and was like, what?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, that's a lot of gifts. Holy smokes.
Math good. So back to the thing.
Not even mad. You just read it. You didn't have to do anything.
Is it reading if it's numbers?
Yes, it's still reading if
Is
it's
it?
numbers.
Is
Yes. Yeah.
Does that mean I can say my daughter can read?
Math.
No. Just
they're all
reading
symbols.
numbers is not math.
You know what, guys? We're gonna continue on. I'll make it a poll as if it's reading or if it's math. Okay.
Both.
And we'll keep going.
It's both.
We're gonna keep going.
It is.
I got this.
All right.
I got this.
So, quick question, Scott. The original idea
That
we
was
had
all.
for learning spells and stuff was to use the wands and for me to study them and be able to pick up the stuff from there. We're not doing that no more because we came up with another magic system, right?
Repeat that one more time. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Originally, I was storing the wands because I could learn spells off of them, but we're not doing that anymore.
You can still do that because you can still learn them off of them. It gives you access to them to learn.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And I think I spent up the wand of lightning. I don't think there's anything left after that one fight.
Once more with feeling.
The lightning bolt.
All right, I got the poll going now. You guys are welcome to contribute to the poll if you'd like.
Both an option on it?
Actually, you can see.
Once more with feeling.
So,
You got my vote.
100% depends on the context, but I'm over it. Whatever.
so,
In this context, it was reading.
You triggered. Will's triggered.
I'm over it. It's fine. I've literally been explaining things to people for over 6 hours today. I'm over it.
Will just needs a beer. That's what Will
I don't
needs.
drink, and it's a real struggle, man. It's a real struggle
Once more
sometimes.
with feeling.
A non-alcoholic water. I have to say that because apparently water is alcoholic now. So I'm just gonna move on from that weirdness that we talked about, I think, last time. So you guys are Josh, you have those, so you have access to learn the spells. Will, you said you guys are in fact heading south to Icarus Fetterfuck? Perfect.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome. So you just do me a favor, because I don't think you actually rolled to or did anything to have somebody go searching to the east. You can easily get somebody. You don't have to roll to get somebody to go there. However, if you do want to have somebody going there, like if you want to try to pull rank to get one of your best scouts, so on and so forth, or if you want to give some pretty high bar direction, like, okay, I don't just want somebody going there, I want somebody to go there undercover, keeping hidden. Just tell me what it is that you're looking for, and I'll tell you whether or not you have to roll.
I think what we're looking for right now is a
Once more
state of
with
affairs.
feeling.
I don't think we're trying to get a count, which doesn't really require that much effort. We're trying to get a count of troops. We're trying to get a distribution probably as well, in terms of how like in terms of if there's movement on those troops, and also on if there is any shift in the numbers compared to what we saw, which we have numbers on what we saw when we first went through for those camps, and unfortunately I don't recall what those numbers are, but I know that we did take note of that when we were going through. So I don't think we're looking for anything too specific, unless anyone else thinks otherwise.
I mean, we were originally, it was to look at numbers. That was it, I think, because we heard that they left an area
That's
and they
kind of what I
reinforced.
was thinking. Yeah, so it's the question of numbers and distribution along that kind of frontline area.
I thought the first thing we wanted to do was reach out to the underground folk.
That's exactly where you're going.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we have to get information first.
Correct.
right?
So he's sending a scout to the east, and you guys are traveling south to the underground folk.
Okay.
Yep.
Hold on. By underground folk, do you mean the human sorcerer, or do you mean the people who are doing an underground resistance? Because this is terminology is kind of important to
The
distinguish.
humans.
Okay.
And the mushrooms.
Okay. So I think you two are talking about different things. You're both.
My apologies.
Yeah.
I was referring to the actual Yovancian freedom fighters. I think what Doxy is now talking about is the people in Amulta that are helping to pull them this way. Correct? Are we all on the same page?
No. She's talking about the dwarves.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And the mushroom folk.
Yes.
And the mushroom.
That whole thing will have to come afterwards because you need to get this information and then go talk to the queen, and then you're doing that. Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's our
Sorry.
goal of our first step, but we have to do these like errands first to get information to go to the queen to then be able to go and do.
Now I get why you're saying humans. And sorcerer. I was like, did he mean
Humans.
source?
No.
Wow.
Yeah, no.
Human.
Anyways, so
As Josh can attest to, I'm very tall, so that was hard to throw over my head.
He's really not. He's not that much taller than me, guys.
Yes, fuck
Man.
you, fuck you.
Scott, I can just reach out like this, straight armed, and it would be over your head.
Yeah, but you're a freak show. Let's keep going.
All
So,
right, so the thing is, I don't think we're trying to get any specific information. It's really just we're looking for numbers and distribution along that front line. I don't think we're looking for someone to necessarily go in there and get like any information on like why those shifts have happened. We just need to know if shifts have happened.
yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Well,
So
I
the-
think maybe, like look for any military exercises they might be doing.
So all those
Yeah.
things that you guys are talking about, that doesn't require any rolls. You have somebody sent there. That's nothing like too specific. You're good. They move on.
Yeah.
Then Doxy, your plan is the next thing that we would be doing after you talk to the queen. So then the plan now is to head south. There's one more thing that I know Doxy and I talked about. I don't know if it was on camera or not before, but Doxy wanted to know more stuff about the actual court of the queen, so she knows the information about the people that are going to be around her before she goes walking into the lion's den, if you will. So I know that you also wanted to contact the Moissanite to see if there is any information. I should say the jewels in general. See if there's any information about the actual court of the queen, so you can have that walking into it. So for you to get that information, again, information in general is pretty easy. If you're trying to call in a favor for like some more intense information, why don't you go ahead and roll me it's a communications check for you to confer that, like make that request to see if you can get some higher tier shit.
Persuasion or just flat communication?
You know what? I would do persuasion. That's fine. Yeah, go ahead. I know that's better for you too.
Ooh, and thank goodness it is.
Yeah.
wow. Yeah. I mean,
Anything you can do about that, or?
Well, I mean, do we have?
Can't you persuasion? Can't you re-roll if you wanted to?
Yes,
Or is it-
I can. Thank you.
And do you have
I
to take the
can.
higher value, or do you have to take the second value, or do you?
Yeah, is it like mine or is it like Will's? Because
Yeah.
mine, I have to take the higher.
Let me
I have
No,
to
you
take
have to
the
take the
next.
second. I can choose to take the higher.
let me look. I'm sorry.
And I'm assuming
I
Scott,
take
Will, and I are
second.
busy learning spells.
You and Will are busy learning spells while she's handling that,
Okay.
and then you guys leave. Will's
Must
requests are
keep
super
the
easy.
results of the second roll.
I mean,
Jeez.
12. I mean, it's good odds you're gonna roll better.
Yeah,
It's very good odds.
it's
You're gonna
very
roll
good
better.
odds you're gonna roll better. And
She
that
rolls
is better.
worse.
Only barely.
That's
Ah.
one category
It's-
of difficulty.
Yeah,
better.
it's
Yeah.
still better.
That's
It's
good.
better, and now you luck die that. You know what I mean? As opposed to what it was.
Well, do we even want to look like that?
I don't even know if you have luck dice. So
It's
you
a,
have to.
Why not?
it's a big point to your character. So I would.
Why not
I
luck
wouldn't-
it? If we have luck, we may not, but if we do, then great, right?
Okay, hear me out though. If we're going to a different academy that I don't reside at, or
Yes.
like that I don't work for,
Okay.
they've heard of me, they're impressed by me, they want to make me happy. Guarantee it. Guarantee it.
Sounds like every man I've ever met.
Chrisellen is famous among the jewels because she's amazing at what she does.
Yeah. But I think
Uh,
that role, it has all that tied into it.
Yeah.
So like, it just because like you're
Right,
gonna
so
get
I'm
something.
I'm arguing for. I think that that also is going to make like the check easier, right?
Well, I think the check is just gonna be. You're gonna get something without a
You're
doubt.
gonna get something, but I mean, you
Uh,
may as well luck it. Worst case scenario, it goes up one category,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And it's a 4. That's
Ooh.
huge. That's an 18. That's a
Jesus.
massive boost. And we have 5 dice in the pool. You
That's
guys are
high
crazy.
Fuck. Thank
Crazy.
you so much, chat room. Thank you.
Theirs are gonna be gone by the end of today, but thank you.
All for me, guys. All for
All
me.
for Josh because he needs them.
Okay, I need one more check before we
Wow,
dive
that turned.
into actually doing things.
That became lethal. Ow!
I just need one more check. Your characters are, I know on your way to go to Icarus, you wanted to stop by the area and try to find out about the soldiers that are on this side of the lines and helping with this like underground railroady thing. Clearly that would be on your way since it's on this side of the border instead of that side, right? So to find out where those soldiers are, rather than having this huge RP thing back and forth, because you can imagine your characters kind of took care of this on your way up and then back, I just need you guys to roll to gather this information. So this is actually going to be a thing where you can choose to roll for your own character, or you can choose to aid one of your friends, giving them a +1. So Doxy, I imagine for you, what you want to roll is communications investigation. That's probably what you want to roll. The others, I don't know what you would want to roll to try to find this out, or who you would want to aid. Yes, you can both aid.
I do not have investigation.
Cool.
but
Then you just roll your
I'm
Communication
happy
is
to
still
roll
really good.
the communication.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think you guys should both just aid me. Should just give me a +2.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say that, or since we have access to the library at will, to do research into that area to maybe find out if we could find out who this person might be
Well, then if
tied
we're
to.
rolling intelligence, I have an even higher score in that.
I'm just saying that's what I think Lazo would do. He wouldn't talk to people to get this
Right.
information.
Weird
he would
flex,
go
bro.
and research. But I also, I think you have better luck getting something with you than with me, I think.
I think the investigation is what's going to actually give us information. As much as the library is great, we're not going to, other than like family lineage of someone named Fetter, who we literally don't know the last half of their name.
Well, the reason
we
I'm
may be
thinking
able
it
to
might
get
help,
that, but, like-
the reason I'm thinking it might help is if it gives us clues onto the lineage or the family of this person and we meet them, I might be able to find out if this is actually that person, if this
Right.
person is actually tied to them, or if they're using a fake name.
Right, and that's
But that's not
possible.
super helpful.
But that's almost a check that we should do after we try and figure out what's actually
Okay, all right, then I'll aid Doxy.
So yeah, I think we're both aiding Doxy on this. So
Doxy, dice are in your hands. Yep.
+2 to the communication roll then.
Yep, well, we can add it in
That's
our
pretty
brains.
good. That's a
17. Do you
Holy
want to
moly.
luck that? Are you happy? Because a 17's pretty, I won't lie, for 17's pretty high roll, but obviously better is
There
better.
are higher.
I'm fine with the 17. I am comfortable with the 17.
I am as well, but Josh, what are your thoughts?
I mean, this is a prime thing that we're going to see, so I wouldn't be bothered, but 17's pretty damn good. Like, I don't feel like we need to.
That's one off of rolling a base stat perfectly.
Yeah.
I am very comfortable with that.
Cool. So when you guys are traveling south, what you're able to determine is that, what you're able to find out is that there are no soldiers or underground railroad or anything like that people have heard of happening. Nobody is part of a network or anything. So this is one of those things where you're literally heading down there and people like, I mean, do people come over the border? Of course. Yeah, people come over the border and between any two nations, I guess. But yeah, definitely slaves run away over this way, but nothing like that would happen. That's extremely illegal. And
So
that's
someone is feeding information to Yovance that's happening when it isn't actually happening.
Or they're that concealed.
They're that concealed. Yeah. Well, either way, it's not Amulta actually doing it, though. Even if they're that concealed, it's not an Amultese wide operation, because let's be honest, that just wouldn't be feasible to be that concealed if that were the case.
it's like the idea of do aliens exist? No, Mathis, aliens don't exist. You think that the government could keep that secret?
As a government employee, obviously for Canada, not even for Canada, for BC, which is a province in Canada, we could. There's no way. The amount of time it would take to get the paperwork in to just say, hey, we need to keep this quiet would have leaked out like 12 times by then.
Yep.
Anyways, hi Mathis.
But he would never watch this.
No, of course not.
He has no taste. He likes things like, ghost stories and aliens. So
I mean, to be fair though,
Things like
those are
ghost stories and
enjoyable.
aliens.
Those are enjoyable things though, so I don't blame him.
But you guys are different. Totally different.
So, wow. All right. Did we get an idea of where he might be? Or did we
Actually,
just
my
know that they
apologies.
were?
That information was about the other thing. Yes, you do have an idea of where, if you're talking specifically about Fetaburst, you would have an information of where you can find him, because once you get down to those border towns and you're asking about people coming over the side, so on and so forth, again, with your 17 check, which is a very impressive check, you did not find about Underground Railroad on this side, but you definitely do find out about there are large groups of people that are sometimes seen moving on the other side, and in fact, sometimes attack the borders of Amulta. They actually will sometimes come to the borders of Amulta, attack the towns to take supplies and so on and so forth, and then just end up retreating back to the south again. And it's one of those things where, how do you know they're slaves? Well, they kind of, stand out. The way that a slave is going to throw themselves into combat and the way that a free man is going to throw themselves into combat are two very different things. Even if they're recently freed, they're probably going to have a different approach to how it is their combat style. So these are the assumptions of others. More importantly, you're actually told where a camp of them happens to be. And yes, it is to the south, but it's also, if you actually, which map are you guys currently on? I'm so sorry.
The big one.
The big one.
Okay, cool. Let me actually bring us all over there for everybody. Oh, that didn't work. I'm over here.
Okay. So it sounds to me it's less an Underground Railroad and more of a bandit camp.
Yep. That's kind of what I'm getting out of it as well.
So it looks like it's time to establish an Underground Railroad, maybe?
So if you're looking down here, it looks like where you're going to be finding these people is actually going to be, you see these 3 hexes right here I'm trying to ping directly in the middle of?
Mm-hmm.
It's actually going to be right in the center of those 3 hexes, just to the south of that little corner right there. Yeah, whoever blue is. Will, you're so good at this. Did you spend an entire day today teaching things?
What?
Almost like PowerPoint presentations and whatnot?
And
I'm
where
sorry,
are we?
You guys actually already, you see that blue line is that Will just made? You're on the Amultese side, literally that blue line is. It's going to be super easy for you to finish that trek down there to get to where this camp is. And you of course just have to choose your approach. Let's grab some soldiers and have them follow us down there. Let's open, small group that we are, but openly, let's try to sneak in and see what their numbers look like. Or so on.
I'm for sneaking in and just to get information.
I forgot to ask about something. Because when we were back in Brintel, Oscar needed to get new armor fitted, new actual proper armor fitted. Was I able to do that? I know we talked about that offline, but I didn't actually change anything about my character sheet.
Yes, and what kind of armor were you going for whether or not you'd have to pay for it?
It's the same one that I had originally.
Then that's fine.
Yeah, just the light mail, I think.
It's Batman armor. It's Batman armor.
It's basically Batman.
Cowl.
Yeah. No. So just light mail again.
Are there nipples and very protruded junk?
Yes. Yeah. It's a big old cod piece. No.
So we are watching 300. Okay. Doxy just got very excited.
I have to look up how much light mail gives for armor. I think it's 5.
But I don't think it's a good idea to run in there with soldiers.
I agree. I feel like I could just waltz in and talk to him.
I'd be afraid about leaving you alone, though.
Oh, you guys would be with me.
I mean, I don't want to leave my Maltese armor somewhere immediately.
Yeah, he
after
just got it.
I'm happy to walk in a Maltese armor, but I'm gonna get fucking murdered. So
maybe not.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna. At this point, I'm just walking in the armor regardless. Oscar's kind of done with the subtlety. It didn't work, so he's. I mean, if you're walking in, you might not want to walk in with an Maltese soldier, but.
You don't know one way or the other at the moment. You know that they're anti-Yovance.
But we also know they attacked the Maltese borders.
Correct.
Yeah,
for supplies.
We're just gonna walk in. Let's just walk in. Let's do it.
Okay. So when you guys go heading south to get there, you again you're being open about it. You're not trying to be discreet. You're not sneaking. You're showing your hand and your approach. You get your carriage with you, or yeah, you get your carriage with you. Would you leave your carriage? I mean, it's pretty close to the border, anyways. Back at the safety of the border town.
Yeah, we want to walk in.
Okay, so horseback sort of situation. Cool. Got it. So you guys go riding in.
As non-threatening, non-fancy as possible.
But at the same time, clearly capable of handling yourself. Yeah. Yeah, no, I gotcha. So you guys go marching down there or riding down there to go into this place. Now, the camp that you eventually come across as part of the traveling, well, sorry, I do need one more check. I do apologize. I can't just throw it at you. Just to find them, it's a navigation check. Navigation, I believe, is intelligence. I could be wrong.
I got that.
Cool. Crushed it. Cool. So you easily find out where they are, follow the directions that were given to you beforehand. Actually, the same information you got beforehand. I'm gonna come across a camp that looks like it's actually for one more check from you. I think this is best from you, Oscar, but I could be wrong. Military lore?
No, not best for me.
Anything lore?
Anything lore is Laszlo, my boy.
Go ahead, Laszlo. Do you activate your ability or no?
Do we have time? I wouldn't if we're just riding up because he's not comfortable with it.
Then don't.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
And 3 stunt dice. This is knowledge. You can use those.
Oh,
It's exploration,
this
so.
would be exploration, I guess.
Yep.
Immediately. I would like to do that. Makes me wonder.
Cool. Roll me that second that perception chest.
Okay. So 16. What's
Wow. Those stunt dice
Yeah.
aren't used as stunt, but we
No,
can use it
yeah.
as degrees of success. So yeah, you absolutely notice something about this camp. So the camp here is about 200 strong. You can tell that. Of those 200 strong, you can clearly tell that the people there are, again, it's pretty obvious that almost all of them, if not all of them, are formerly slaves. Once again, just kind of like the way that they walk about, the way that they're kind of maintained. You can see markings on them, the clothing that they have on them, so on and so forth. But one of the other things that you have to notice as you're coming towards the camp, beyond scouts have clearly noticed you. You noticed the scouts noticed you earlier on, and later on you notice a scout go and speak to. You don't know who this is, but there's clearly a man down there that is much better dressed than the rest. Much better, it holds himself much better than the rest. He's a good distance from you, so it's hard to make out the details as to who they are and so on and so forth. But you can definitely tell that there's somebody down there that does not give you the impression by any stretch of the imagination that they used to be any form of slave. And he's informed by the scouts that you noticed personally riding down and into that area. He's informed, gives kind of like a nod and, goes into a tent. And you get the impression you're probably going to be led to that tent.
Okay, so I'm assuming. All right, do we have 2 horses or 3 to pull the cart?
Your cart's not with you?
We're not in the cart, yeah.
No,
Correct.
but he said on horseback. I'm assuming we took the horses. and we
Correct.
left the
I
cart.
actually imagine if you're going for an extremely fancy cart, that it would actually be 4 horses to pull it.
Oh,
And if you broke off, you would leave one behind and take the 3.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'll ride up in between Chris Ellen and Oscar, and I'll kind of relay this to them, making sure that Chris Ellen I describe the guy to Chris Ellen so she knows who it seems like the leader is.
Okay. And I would be like, what do you guys want me to say to him?
We need to know if as much as we can about this operation, and if they're working for Amulta. If they're working for Amulta, we have an issue. We don't know if we should help him, stop him, or not. If he's not working for Amulta, it's clear that it might be more beneficial for us to stop him. And I'll gesture around, it might not be smart in this situation to do that.
I feel like if he's not working for Amulta, we could persuade him to.
We don't have leave to do that at this point.
It's not a bad idea, but Chris Ellen, maybe even if we can get them to move, it will take the threat of Amulta off of. It would take the threat that Amulta persists.
Whoa, is that Brittany?
That was creepy.
Brittany always just comes and brings me coffee. Did she bring you coffee too?
Yeah.
Isn't she awesome? She's like the sweetest person, right? Love
And
Brittany.
Hasselback potatoes.
Ooh.
I mean, she got some nice taters, so I agree with you on that one. It's not creepy. It's my wife. Okay.
If we can maybe get them to move their operation away from Amulta, take the heat off of Amulta for now, that could be helpful to us.
Still creepy.
What do you guys think?
I agree.
I'm going to persuade them to work for us.
And do what?
Bring more slaves over for our armies.
We don't have any leave to do that.
We don't need it.
Oscar just kind of shakes his head. Says, I don't give you commands. You do whatever you think is best.
I mean, we could tell them our idea of a free state. Maybe they can start working towards that. But we can't promise them Amulta's going to help until we speak with the Queen. That would be a lie.
I'm quite skilled at that.
That doesn't mean it's a good idea.
I think it'd be smart not to lie for the Queen.
I agree.
As do I. Just felt like bragging.
Well, you're not wrong.
Yes. All right. Let's make sure people notice you. And I'm going to cast Arcane Candle above her head. So a ball will of what color would you say is crystalline? Because I can choose the color.
She's dark red is like her
Okay.
color.
So
That's
like a
not
dark.
ominous.
Because she's not a ruby at all.
So like a dark red, something like I would imagine not blood, but something more like something lavish would appear over her head, and I'll just kind of trail behind her so that it looks like she's the center of attention.
What is the positioning and posturing and whatnot of Oscar, please?
Oscar does not have weapons out. He's riding a horse.
Your spear, do you have it sheathed in like one of those like double loop things on your back? Okay,
Sure.
my apologies. Continue.
Yeah.
So just relax riding the horse at the side. I understand.
I'm trying to think if there's anything that would be of note in terms of posture for how he's riding. I don't think so. He's very much just. The thing is, he's a little fed up right now. So the real answer is he's on guard, but in a way that he'll be quick to draw the spear if needed.
Yep.
But it's away currently.
So I want to two meta things real quick, and then we're gonna push on. One goes to chat. Hey chat, I think we had this conversation off stream, so you guys probably didn't hear this part. They are not doing the inn idea. Instead, they chose to get themselves a really fancy wagon, which is why you hear us talking about a wagon. It did not poof out of thin air. They purchased one for 1,000 gold, including 4 horses to pull it, because a typical wagon costs 100 gold. So they more or less drop like 685 gold on the wagon, 300 on horses, and then the rest of it on the materials needed to run the wagon, right? So just so you guys are aware, and the other meta goes to you PCs, without necessarily having to talk about it. Y'all remember what your actual plan is with them, right? Like what you actually were kind of hoping to do with the peoples down here.
Yeah, make a city state.
Cool,
Right?
awesome, we're good.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so going into it, Doxy has this amazing Nope, not Doxy, though she does as well. This amazing glow to her. But Chrysalin's glow is this like crimson, this deep red color. That kind of like just gives this ominous look to her that she is both stunning, but also a bit alarming at the same time. Perhaps the alarming nature of her is because of her just how incredibly keen and dangerous she can be with her wit and tongue. Maybe it's with combat. Who knows? Whatever the case may be, she is kind of gives off this aura, right? You have Laszlo, who's simping behind her, and you have Oscar, who is comfortably riding along her side, knowing that he belongs next to somebody with this kind of presence, which also gives its own aura.
I don't want to pull any attention. I don't want to pull any attention to myself. I want to leave it all on Chrisellen. So I'm just like trailing behind her, almost like a steward or like a person that's a servant for her.
Awesome. So you simp well. So you continue your way down into the camp. You are met by guards, clearly met by guards. And one of those things where as you meet up with the guards, you can see that there's a perception, sympathy, empathy check.
I can do that if you guys want.
Y'all can.
This is just gonna be regular perception for me, which is not good.
That's not great either.
11.
13 and 11 are better than 9, so...
Oh, I saw the 5 for those stunt points. Okay, so we're gonna go to Doxy on this one. So Foxy, when you go looking at them, you can kind of get the impression of these people here. There's a mixed emotions of them, which is not uncommon for considering the fact that you have, about a dozen guards walking up to you, or I should say soldiers or whatever these people are walking up to you. Some of them are definitely giving that look to Oscar, like, the hell is he doing here? But others are just genuinely curious. Others are just like nervous and kind of like safeguard, like kind of like, okay, we need to protect our lands. What the hell are these people doing here? They seem kind of nervous, and that's the vast majority of them, right? So you're kind of getting that impression off them as you're walking up. One of the guards, and this is one of the ones that seems like they're again nervous, looks at the group of the three of you and says, "What you here for?"
Hoping to shelter with you for the night.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to be able to do that. You're going to have to talk to the man in charge.
May I?
Yeah. But before you go in there, your weapons. You're not going to use them, right?
I
Not
would
at all.
use them.
Would you be okay with leaving them on a table?
Oscar just shrugs. That's up to you, folks.
It's kind of like when Oscar shrugs and gives that response, again, back to you, Chris Ellen, you can see that Oscar saying yes sends an easing emotion across them. Even though he didn't actually say yes, it was like one of those, okay, he's clearly okay with it, waiting for the yes, but he gives that, like you can see this like, almost like a calming effect on most of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oscar, throw that to you too, so you guys can respond.
I mean, I don't mind. I don't even actually really use this, and I'll pull out the Gist sword.
Yeah.
I never.
I'll hand over my crossbow, and I'll show them my short sword, and I'll say, "Do forgive a lady for not wandering into a camp full of men without some protection."
They wouldn't exactly take the stuff here just to button up a little bit easier. They would have you leave it on the table right outside the tent that they're going to bring you to, which is, of course, a slightly larger and slightly nicer tent. But they would, a lot of the people out here actually don't even have coverings, so they sleep in the outside in the open. But anyways, so when we kind of get up to the area and you have a table there and you say that, one of them, one of the ones that was kind of like seemed aggressive before about Oscar would actually gesture to him, like openly gesture at him and say, "That's what he's for, right?"
You've neutered him.
Oscar kind of shrugs and just says, "Not really." And
Once again, it's one of those things where you can see that his honesty is having an effect on the people around. Like, it's not one of those things like, "Yeah, I know. Well, I got nothing left." Like, the honesty is actually playing well for them.
Good.
So do you still try to keep the sword, or do you concede? Okay, so when you like look, almost like go to cover it back up again, like you've said your words, he said his, and then you go to cover the thing back up. He's like, "No, no weapons for you to go in there."
Then he should come out. I don't know what's on the other side of these flaps.
Well, hold on now. Tell you what.
As you say, tell you what, the flap literally opens up and shows a man on the other side. Again, it's not like he's dressed like a noble, but he is definitely in better clothing than the rest of them here. His clothes are clearly seen worn down, What stands apart from the rest of them is, now that you can actually see his face, you can see his expression, so on and so forth. You can clearly tell that this man stands many classes away from them, like class structure, like stands above the rest of them by and far. Gives you that air of nobility. Certainly the way that his hair has been groomed, the fact that even though he's older, he's aged well, so on and so forth. He is a human. When you look at him for the first time, none of you will most likely be able to pick out who this person is, but go ahead and roll me a cultural lore. This is specifically for Yovance, so the DC is different for each of you. Doxy has the easiest, Josh is the hardest.
It's a lore check,
It's
by the way.
intelligence, right?
Without any focus, I rolled a 12. That's pretty good for Oscar. I'll be real. Both of you getting an 18 is really good.
Okay.
I mean, my check's harder, so she'll probably get more.
Probably.
But
No, it's fine for both of you guys. So it's because you spent so much time in the capital of Amulta, bored. Trying to learn magic, but nobody's really teaching it to you. You had a ton of time passing, and your character's so accustomed to always being nose in the books and reading and blah 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 blah, but never really had an opportunity. You of course picked up books and read them about more things than just magic because you needed to entertain yourself. So Laszlo actually is familiar with this person by the description, because you've seen a sketch of him before, though clearly the old sketch was of him much younger. You're pretty sure with your strong memory that his name is Lander de Bellum. Dox, you actually do know who this person is. It is in fact Lander de Bellum. And he is not just a noble, he's a former noble of Yovance. He might actually still technically have the status of noble, you honestly don't know, but you know that he had a reputation in Yovance of being very different from the others. First and foremost, he didn't own slaves. He used to have land, or maybe still does, over in the eastern stretches of Yovance, but not so far north as this. And he didn't really maintain slaves. He had indentured servants and whatnot, of course. Yeah, he's a noble. He had people that maintained his estate and everything for him. But he was different by and far from a lot of the other nobles. You believe he's actually, by reputation at least, he's spoken of well. Mm-hmm. Whether or not reputation is true is a different conversation entirely.
Can you put the name in chat for me, please?
Absolutely, of course. I'll throw it inside Landor de Bellum. So anyways, he stands there. He opened the flap and stands there before the three of you as he opened it, clearly interrupting what you were going to say next. What's your
You'll
name?
get there. You'll get there. I believe.
Will. In terms of what Will was saying, what Oscar was saying, he says, please, no need. You're welcome to come in. I can come out. I'm genuinely not afraid of the weapons that you might happen to carry.
Oscar nods, picks his spear back up, and throws it back in the loops, and then throws the shield back on over his back.
He'll hold the flap open for you to walk past and step to the side.
Ellen will curtsy, stop to do a very formal curtsy and say, Sir de Bellum, you needn't be afraid.
When you recognize who he is, he says, my apologies, my lady, you have me at a disadvantage. With whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
She smiles at him slyly and says, someone who has everyone at disadvantage.
He will give like a small smile to that. It's very small. It's practice. It doesn't seem like it's actual like ha 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 kind of emotion. And he gives like a bow, like a nod of appreciation to your statement, and then will again allow you to pass. You can clearly tell he intends to ask again. So
yeah.
While they're talking, I'll kind of walk over and I'll hold the flap for him like I'm her servant.
He's already holding the flap, so would you try to take it from him because you're a little person?
I would just kind of like gesture, like, a doorman or something, and see if he lets me do it. Mm-hmm. I'll grab it out of his hands and kick him in the shin and run.
I think he's like 6'5" or something like that too.
All right, kick him in the ankle.
Yeah.
He's taller than Oscar too.
Yeah, he's actually a big boy. I'm just gonna double check my notes real quick. But he's a pretty big boy.
Yeah.
So, anyways, he would, if you're being gracious, if you're being generous, he returns. It's like the whole "who's gonna pay for the bill" sort of a thing. He's like, "No, please, after you."
Okay, I'll go in. I'm not gonna have a pissing contest with the tall
Oscar
dude.
will go.
I
in
lose
last,
every time.
and we'll just do a bit of a light bow and nod to him as he steps in.
By the way, the last letter in his last name is actually an N, not an M. I think I wrote Bellum. It's Bellun. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was just looking at my notes. It's not that big of a deal, but it is a factor. So anyways, so you said thank you, Will, and then you guys go in. When you go in there are, in fact, seats that you can take. There's a desk and everything that's there and whatnot. But he doesn't go over and sit down at the desk. He doesn't go over and do anything like that. He's a little less formal with the introduction of himself to the three of you. He's 6'4", so I think he's exactly Will's real height. So he actually walks into the tent and goes over and he'll kind of like quarter sit on the desk. You know what I'm talking about? Those comfortable, more leaning up against the desk.
So like palms down on the desk, butt just kind of barely touching the edge.
The power boss move.
Yeah, the power
Correct.
boss
Except his hands, one hand would be like on a wrist crossed in front of him, as opposed to palm down.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. He's doing a lean. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
He'd say, "My apologies for the way that they invited you. I didn't know who you were as you approached, and so I told them to treat you normally. And then I could hear by the commands that there was, in fact, you're not going to waste your time with small trifles. So let's not waste each other's time. Why are you here?"
Excuse me, Chris Ellen, for a moment. I'll look at Lander and go, "Do you mind if I cast a spell? I'd like to make sure we're alone."
He thinks for a moment and says, "I've had dealings with the Arcane Congress in the past, and I have reason to not trust them."
Good.
You won't see a spell book in my hands.
He nods.
All right, so I'll cast Arcane Awareness.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a 16. So just so you know, it's pretty much detect magic. But I have to make perception checks. If you have to decide, like tell me, okay, this is more hidden, you do a perception check on it. So it's up to you. I just want to make sure there's no sensors or anything.
No sensors.
All right, I'll look to Chris Ellen and I'll look to Landor, and it's active for a minute, FYI. And I'll just say, there's nothing in here.
I work for Amulta. Your camp has been raiding the Amultese border. I was hoping that we could reach an agreement about that.
There are a few incorrect assumptions, but we can continue and correct as we go.
By all means.
I've not been raiding your camp. I have a different task at hand. But I do know of what you're referring to, and of course who's been doing it.
Do you know to what purpose?
I do, in fact, yes.
Would you be willing to share that with me?
I absolutely would be willing to share it with those that are amicable, those I can work well with. But I'm going to be completely honest with you. This isn't my first conversation with would-be adventurers and people that have the ability to throw their weight around. I understand that if we were to come to blows, that you would probably be able to kill many of the men outside this tent before you yourself finally succumb to an eternal rest. But none of us want that to happen. So let's just be honest with one another. I will give you information if it's worthwhile for us to do so, but I need to know why you're here.
To stop the tax on Amulta.
Is that the only reason why you're here?
Well, if we can negotiate a peace at the border, then there may be more to discuss down the line.
Then allow me to say that for your complaints, for your concerns, you and I are of kin spirit. I actually am not a fan of the attacks on Amulta as well. I've certainly aired my grievances, and they are being handled accordingly by the powers that be. Does this satisfy our meeting?
Partially.
Okay, please.
How receptive are you to radical ideas?
I've been listening to them almost non-stop for a considerable period of time. One might say my whole life.
Slave-freeing ideas.
Amongst the radical ones that I've heard, what do you have in mind?
We might be able to get Amulta to back a city-state.
Go on.
I personally have the ear of the queen. And I believe that we could supply you. Perhaps aid in battle to take Yovance back.
I need two things rolled. One, your communications check. It's persuasion, actually, because you're trying to... let me double check that persuasion. Sorry. To make sure that's actually the best one for this. It probably is.
Bargaining.
You're also trying to persuade him into being to like believing you and your story and so on and so forth. Bargain would be a different part as to what you're giving, what you're getting. So I'm gonna do which might come down the barrel. So let's go with persuasion for now, and I'm also gonna need for how he follows up, how much you guys perceive off of him directly, what your perception empathy is going to be.
Okay.
So Doxy first, and then all of you. Wow.
Holy crap.
Feel pretty good about that. Let's do
Yeah.
degree of success.
Oh.
So I'm just gonna roll that perception empathy. Holy crap, that's good for not having a focus in it.
That is
Jesus.
really good for not having.
With 6 stunt points too.
What is with all
Yeah.
these 6 stunt points?
I'm also gonna do degree of success with
Yeah,
that.
I think that's fair.
Okay, hear me out. I know you want to do degrees of success, but
Stunt
Tower
points
of
in
Will
this. Yeah.
Tower of
is
Will
real good.
gives you a +1
Yeah.
to things, to any opposed checks for emotional
Alright,
disadvantage,
We'll do
intimidating.
Tower of Will.
You do Tower Will, and you can follow it up with the and another thing.
This
Or, no, I wouldn't say sway the crowd.
Now hold on. This is. I mean,
Yeah, Sway Crown doesn't work. There's no one in here.
No.
The hamster in the corner is like.
Josh will get another +1 to simping next roll.
does my 16 succeed as well?
My apologies. This was for reading him.
The perception, yeah.
To a lesser, to a lesser degree, but yes, and I understand that a 6 is a big number, but yes,
Yeah. So,
this is just not a simpleton that you're dealing with.
of course, for me, I'm just using degrees of success on that with the stunt
Okay.
points. That's because I think I'm not really doing the interaction there, so I just want to hit degrees of success there.
Yep, you're exploring anyways. You're reading him as opposed to speaking.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm sorry, Doxy. It looks like you were trying to make a decision on something.
I'm just gonna do Tower of Will. The other two are irrelevant.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Awesome. I'm just looking for one more thing. Okay, cool. So you do Tower of Will, which actually makes it the way Tower of Will is going to work in this situation is you're going to make it so you're a little bit harder to read, as opposed to because like he's somebody else that you can imagine is very good at conversing and whatnot, and he also reads his opponents, conversational opponents, as you read yours. You're going to make yourself a little bit more hard to read, a little bit more aloof. So he can't quite get a beat on you. That's how Tower Will is going to work in your favor here. You guys that are able to read him, which is, I think, Doxy a second time with a crushing roll of 18. Josh can go fuck himself, and Oscar is to a lesser degree, but still able to read him. You can see that he's being polite. He's only ebbing on the side of rudeness because you can clearly tell that he's busy. And so if this conversation isn't going to go anywhere, he'd rather end it than waste everybody's time with it. You know what I mean? So, anyways, when you say that, he thinks for a moment, takes a deep breath, then sighs and says, "Have you heard the name Icarus?
We have.
What do you know or think of Icarus?"
I look to Oscar.
Oscar kind of pauses with that and just says, "We don't know yet. That's a point of assessment."
You haven't met him. Makes sense. We usually keep that camp a little bit quieter and mine a little bit more noticeable. People come through me first. There's a reason for that. I came to Icarus to lend aid for something that I was interested in for a long time. We have vastly differing views, but at least we're honest with one another. And I have to say that finding honesty in this world seems to be a rather difficult thing. I don't know if you've experienced that in your lives, but I certainly have in mine.
Oscar nods without any hesitation on that.
Icarus has a plan. He wants freedom for the people. He's leading as I imagine you've heard, a bit of a force to make this happen. Also, to make this happen, he has a plan. It's not quite the same as yours, though. It sounds like what you're saying is that Amulta backs our cause, or might have interest in backing our cause. And
Powerful people in Amulta back
Might
your cause.
have interest in backing the cause.
please correct me if I'm
In
wrong.
the interest of honesty.
Well, please correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're saying you have the ear of the queen and the queen might have interest, is the queen not Amulta herself?
Right. I have the ear of the queen, not the tongue.
I understand. And your plan was to provide aid to help our cause, stop the battles north and instead enhance them to the south. You and I actually might be able to agree on something then. Can I be blunt with you?
Of course.
Icarus wants freedom for his people. For the people of Yovance, the slaves. He has a method, as I said. Differs from how I would like to go about it. I'm not going to divulge all of that information to you. I, again, have chosen to aid him, and I'm not exactly going to go and throw all of his secrets to people that I've just met, especially considering that we are, to a degree, at odds end. I have a different way of going about things. I have a plan to cause a bit of a distraction in Yovance. I would like to cause a degree of infighting between the different peoples in charge. I don't know how familiar you are with the socioeconomic structure of Yovance, but in short, there are people that have power and most don't. I want the people that have power to be at each other's throats, sometimes literally, but for the most part figuratively. Cause a bit of distraction.
I'll
This
place a hand on his wrist and say, "Oh, if only you knew how much I could assist in that."
Please.
She gestures to herself.
Says, you certainly are a remarkable woman. There's no getting around that. I do have to say, you have this bit of a glow to you. It's magical. I imagine it's some sort of allusion to awe those about.
I snap my fingers and hope that
I drop it. Yeah.
So it drops, and he nods and says, I'm not adept in magic myself. I've just had a lot of recent experiences with those that are and use similar tactics. So, again, I do apologize. I'm not trying to be rude. You believe that you can cause a bit more of an infighting in Yovance?
if I could get invitations to events, I am certain I could help. I just need information, and I just need location.
Why would the Queen be willing to do this if the Queen is allied with Yovance?
It's barbaric, isn't it? the way Yovance operates.
I spent my entire life here. I wish I could say I've been removed from the culture, but it would be a lie. I've, of course, owned other people, as others have. It's unfortunately the nature. I've changed, I hope, for the better, the fates of those that were in my control before, but unfortunately, for others, I know I have not. I've made my own stumbles. I've had my failings, and there are countless that people that I imagined would curse my name.
This is why I know you. Our alliance with Yovance is one of necessity. We can't push back without our powerful magics. Without Yovance. We're a doomed nation without Yovance. However, with Yovance comes a certain amount of soul rot.
Indeed. So what do you propose? If you are talking about aiding me and causing a bit of infighting, that's certainly going to be distracting soldiers from the border that's protecting Amulta.
You're a powerful lord, are you not?
I am not. I walked away from my estate some time ago, and the details of that I'd rather not get into.
You have access to lords.
There are some that I might be able to call friends. There's others that I can call acquaintance. And then there's the rest.
All I need is rumors, believable ones, of treachery between lords. I say them to the right people that tried to bed me, and Bob's your uncle.
About you. You're a diamond. I saw the charm, but I wasn't positive.
Aye.
Is this cause something that the jewels stand behind? The jewels have never been known to get into political, well,
The jewels stand
openly.
behind power and money.
Yeah.
I personally stand behind your cause.
He looks to... Ooh,
I'm
please.
the shiniest jewel.
He'll nod to that. Again, he's not like a laughy kind of person. You know what I mean? It's not that he lacks emotion. It's just that this is a very heavy conversation that you're having, right? And you're being lighthearted, which you can imagine is appreciated, but it's pretty heavy at the moment.
Also, he's busy.
Yeah. Busy looking up dentity. No. He actually turns his attention to Oscar and says, I would be a fool not to know your station. Is this something that you hear talks of interest amongst your people?
Oscar kind of he's rattling a thought around in his brain of how he wants to approach that particular point of conversation. This group has been tasked with essentially figuring out our best methods, courses of action, gathering information, determining not what Amulta should do, but what Amulta's options are. This is to that end. As the fair lady said here, she stands behind your cause, and she has the ear of the Queen. That's all true. The Queen may very well have interest in your cause as well. As far as the military, we are so spread thin at this point, trying to get a read on exactly what soldiers want, what the military wants. They want the war to end. Anything other than that, Who knows? Many would support. Some might not. But those with rank would follow the queen, and those without would follow those with rank.
Your arrival, funny enough, shortly after another group has come and fallen to my hands to lend a degree of aid for my cause, has been fortuitous. It's almost as though the gods are smiling upon the actions we're trying to take here. I want to believe you. You seem honest and forthright. However, you are a diamond, and you are a soldier of Amulta. This could be a cunning deception designed specifically to disrupt what it is that we're trying to do here in the name of the alliance to Yovance. So, I need to have a degree of proof that what you're saying is true, and we can move forward with our talks, and potentially I can even give you more information than I'm comfortable with doing now.
Well,
You speak to your queen, he says, kind of like pushing on. You speak to your queen, find out to what degree she's willing to aid immediately, and to what degree she's willing to aid in the long run. And if it is to our satisfaction, then I will continue to work with you.
in order to provide that information to our queen, we need at least enough information to tell her what it is you seek to do.
Freedom. To establish a place of freedom for our people. Where we intend to establish it, how we intend to establish it, all those details I'm not going to share with you. It's pretty obvious, it's pretty known. We want freedom, and we don't want to continue fighting. We will fight. Unfortunately, people will die so that others can live.
Oscar walks up to him and puts his hand out. You have my word.
He'll stand upright as you approach, but not in like a threatening or defensive way.
Yeah, of course. But Oscar puts his hand out and just says, "You have my word, we'll speak with the queen."
He'll take your hand. I have a question to ask before we can fully adjourn with an agreement, and perhaps enjoy a drink, because I imagine you're a bit parched from the trek that you made. Your armor is too new for you to have come simply from the border. The three of you, have you ever had dealings with demons, devils, or otherworldly creatures? Things that can just appear or disappear, perhaps whisper lies or truths into your ears?
Every weekend.
Has Oscar dealt with anything like that in the past? Mostly magical beasts, right? Not anything to that degree.
Right.
Oscar shrugs and says, "Nothing quite to that degree. Magical beasts, certainly. Magical
Yes.
beings." Oscar turns to Laszlo and just gives him a look.
Not demons, or at least not to my knowledge, but creatures that appear out of nowhere. Speak to you, speak words. I met a man not too long ago. He gave me us a gift, and I think cursed me.
So to go back for half a step, Doxy clearly was sarcastic when she said that, referring to the fact that she's a diamond. It was understood. But for you, he says, "A man cursed you, and you now hear or see things."
I see the dead.
That's unfortunate. But
Yes.
but but nothing quite what I was describing before.
Not fiendish, no.
Do you have dealings with fiends that you need dealt with?
Any dark dealings that were had around me, I've removed myself from them because I don't think I could remove them from their dealings.
Oscar kind of nods at that and just says, "So you ask us just in case.
Had you had those kind of dealings, I imagine there'd be a bit of a weight on you. Something that I'd be able to see or tell, or at least hope. Perhaps I'm giving myself too much credit for my ability to read others, but I just need to know. I've made many folly in my life. I've lost many people in my life. I'm willing to die, but I'm not willing to make those mistakes again.
Fair enough.
My talents tend to be better spent on men with blood flowing.
I certainly know one that likes to keep a cadre of ladies about, but that's, as I imagine, a conversation for a different time, different circumstances. For now, please, you've again come a long trek for you to be met with a brief meeting and barely a bargain. Could I at the very least offer you a drink, or if you are not feeling comfortable enough to talk over the very loud hammering of a keyboard, then instead you can ask others to mute their microphone and then continue with opening your own beverage. And
I think a drink would do us good.
Yes, maybe shelter with you.
tosses you a wink and starts unzip. No. He says...
He's a little bit getting at that. I'm sure he has the most comfortable bed here.
Well, it's funny because he actually simply responds with, you're welcome to stay in the camp for the evening and the evening alone, but we cannot provide for you tents, seeing as we can't even provide them for all the people that are amongst us.
Oscar actually just kind of motions to the pack that is probably by the door. I've got a tent. I've got two, actually. We'll be fine.
I don't take up much room.
That's also fair.
He'll actually, because that was a self-depreciating joke. It's one of those things where he'll actually, like, you can see almost like a quarter smile for half a step, and then kind of cleans away. He'll pop a bottle. Oh, actually, I should say he has an open bottle, and pour himself a drink and offer for you guys to drink from it as well. Simple fact of the matter is, it's you can tell by the smell when he opens it that it's like, liquor that you make on the road.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Pooch.
Yeah, pooch. Whatever you want it to be. What's that one you make with like oranges and stuff?
Pooch.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I do actually have a cask of whiskey on me still. That's been aging with us on the road because that's. So I'll actually.
When the cart went into the water, you guys like save the whiskey. Why is the
save the whiskey?
Why is the
Look, I still have the whiskey. It's just a small cask. It's like one of the
Pruno.
Personal,
Thank you.
Personal casks. And so I'll actually pull that out and just say, would you like some of the good stuff?
You can actually see an almost pleading look in his eye.
Yeah. Oscar sets the cask because it's just about that big, and he sets it down and just pops the top that's been in there literally the whole time. This is the first alcohol that Oscar actually bought back in. This is the one that's been with him since the intro episode. This isn't even the one that he bought in Hep 1.
The one we got like to bribe people that we never got to bribe.
Yeah, exactly. This is the good shit. So anyways, I pop open the stopper in that, and just the smell is, I'm sure, just delightful, especially for someone who's been drinking hooch for the last while. And he'll just kind of motion to him after you.
He will take a drink, and it's one of those things where as things kind of go on for a bit, he does actually what's the word I'm looking for? Like I don't want to say begrudgingly, but you can almost see he's almost, what's the word, like almost like hee or whatever, like goes for, I can't think of the word. Anyways, goes for seconds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shamefully, I don't know. Goes for seconds. And takes it, but
sheepishly,
bashfully, that works. It's not the word I was looking for, but it's close enough to it. That works. Thank you. So thank you, Doxy and Will, for helping out. Josh is useless, so
we know words.
For the conversation that you guys have, and it can't last for too long, because as he said beforehand, he is a bit
Yeah.
busy. Could you go ahead and everybody just roll me your communication? Is there small talk or no? There's an etiquette, carousing.
Carousing.
Regardless, Chrisellen would be like, allow me to prove my talents. Let me help you with any kind of communications work that you need to do around the camp this evening.
He actually would not
First
take.
shelter.
He would actually not take you up on that one because he'd want to keep a lot of the communications close to his chest. But would what was I gonna say? Turn down your offer in a polite way. You know what I mean? He wouldn't bring it up that way, but you're pretty smart. You understand why. Why don't you go ahead and I would say I suppose it's more of an etiquette because I can't find carousing as a role. So communications etiquette, or if you don't have it, just communications is fine.
Okay.
I think Doxy chose riding instead of etiquette. Or
That's in dexterity.
No. Oh. I'm drinking this shitty wine because I hate
Thankfully,
myself.
Chrisellen is carrying the conversation.
oh god, Jesus! I'm like, wow, 7. That's not very good. But it's Oscar. He probably just sits there and is like, yep.
No, Oscar
And if he's
literally
hot,
is
she's
not
flirting
talking.
too. She wants to sleep in this comfortable bed.
Yeah, is he hot? Have you ever rolled for
Yeah,
hot?
hold on. Is he hot? Is he hot?
Actually, Joey. No, not Joey. It's not Joey. I don't remember who.
Give me a second, Doxy. I will. Actually, what I can do is I can share I think this will work. I'm gonna share this inside Twitch chat. And click this image.
Yeah.
This is the image that was sent to me forever ago.
Yeah, she'd tap that.
Hey, that's the one we were using for Oscar's token.
Oh, was it?
Yep,
Oh, that's hilarious.
that's really funny.
Give me half a second. Late 40s, black hair, silver mustache, reminiscent about his youth. May sometimes come off as vacant, but it is. What's funny is you would find out. I would say, Doxy, that with all of your effort and everything to get there, you would actually find out that he is not interested, but not interested in the sense of like you're not my type. Not interested in the sense like you kind of get the impression like he's a married person. Like you get that kind of, you know what I mean? He doesn't wear a ring on his finger, but you get that kind of.
He's in love with someone else.
That it could be that, or there's an obligation to someone else, is what you get the impression of. Off of it.
All right. She won't press. She wants to be not creepy and she wants
Once
to be
more with
likable.
feeling.
Okay.
You'll get Oscar's nice tent tonight then.
Hammer just became the 101st Dalmatian, so welcome, Rayron.
Ooh.
You cute little puppy, you. No, Rayron, Hammer, don't chase the bunny. Okay? Don't chase the bunny. A rice is very nice.
All of
Don't make me say it twice. I think I've said it thrice. Okay, this joke is no dice.
Yeah, it's
Awesome.
dead. It's dead. It's dead.
Damn it. I was a split second too late.
Oh, sorry. So anyways, you are, so yeah, you guys have your conversation. Things go very well. He's actually a really nice person. The problem is nice, but like very formal. Doesn't like open up, isn't like charming or so on and so forth. You can clearly tell, you can get the, I will allow one more from Doxy because you were so close with him with how you were able to communicate with him. I'll allow one more communications, perception, empathy.
Should I luck it, boys?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Let's get it up at least.
I'm a dice hoe. I just spend that. Just roll it all.
All right, so Doxy, you can get the impression that he just is very he's reserved, not just because of the way his heart sits in the world that he had to grow up in, but beyond that, he's clearly been burned along the way, and so he just has guards up left and right everywhere. Doxy's like, wow, just describe my love life, why don't you? So Sorry.
Let's make no mistake about it. She is making it obvious to people who are good at wordplay that she just wants to spend the night in his bed. If sex happens, but she wants to spend the night in his bed.
He's too formal for that to be comfortable with that, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
As I said,
Okay.
you get Oscar's nice tent tonight.
Okay.
Yeah. Wait, which tent you pitching for Chris Allen?
You'll never know.
Sorry. All right, so anyways, the next morning you characters get up. You can see that again, not everybody here is comfortable with your being here, but that's fine. You don't expect them to be. And then I imagine you just kind of, actually what ends up happening is a bunch of free folk come and steal your horses. Just kidding. You guys get on the horses and we'll ride north and back over to the border where it's safer. Unless you tried to do anything else while you're here, I imagine not. I don't know if you mingle with the people at all. Like, I'm trying to talk to them.
Oscar will actually give his spare tent to them because they said they were short tents. When
Can Laszlo would go to Oscar in the morning while I guess, I'm assuming Chrisellen has like an hour beauty regimen in the morning or something like that. So while that's all going on, Laszlo would just go up to Oscar and say, maybe we should just go and see their formations and any training that they're doing to get an idea of how much support they'll actually need.
Do you think they'll let me watch that?
I don't know.
I don't think they will. I think they might let you, but I think that they would even be pretty hesitant about that based on how guarded he was. I don't think they'll let me. That being said, I could ask him.
I think it'd be good. The more information we could pitch to the Queen.
I mean, they clearly need help. There are 200 men in this camp.
Yeah.
That's not enough to start a nation state.
There's 200 former slaves here.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a lot of former slaves.
Yes, it is. It's also a hell of a lot of people who will be pissed off.
Oh, come on. They wouldn't be able to hit you. I watched you fling yourself out of a burning building. Actually, no, I didn't because I was passed
You
out.
were unconscious. You've heard me tell you that I jumped off of a burning building.
Chrisellen told me about how you jumped off a roof.
Yeah.
Out of a burning building.
Yeah.
I think it'd be worth. I honestly think it'd be worth for you to at least get an eye.
I think if I could, I agree. I don't think they'll let me. That being said, no harm in trying. Oscar will kind of, based on, does this seem like it's organized like a military camp?
Yes, but very sloppy.
Loosely,
Not that Lander doesn't know how to organize one. That these people don't know how to follow one.
This is also
yet.
a decoy. He just told us that this is.
It's
the
true,
decoy for the
but
real.
even still at that point, knowing what they're presenting as a decoy will give us an idea of
Once
what
more,
degree
with
of
feeling.
success they'll have with another. It's likely that the other one is going to be better organized. But even getting that information for this camp, because we're not making a deal with Icarus, we're making a deal with Landor, right? So Oscar will kind of take a look around. He's not going to be observing military drills necessarily because he doesn't think that he'll get away with that. But he's just going to look at the organization, how they behave, whether they carry themselves with any military semblance at this point, where's their discipline at. Essentially just looking to get a feel for the camp. So, yeah.
I mean, again, it's one of those things you can roll on military lore, but I mean, you've pretty much got.
It's pretty much we've squeezed the orange dry.
You're not gonna even be able to use this as if they can spare 200 soldiers here, you know that the other one, the main one's gonna be bigger, but who's leading it? What are they like? Would they spare 2% or 25% of their force?
We don't know at this point. Yeah. We don't have that information. And my take on it at this point is just, okay, this is a lightly organized military camp, which means that in terms of effort putting into the decoy, it's minimal. In terms of them letting 3 strangers walk up to a camp with heavy weaponry as far as things go in terms of literally letting a gnome who they would probably assume is part of the Arcane Congress based on this guy's dealings past. They're not doing the high defense thing at this point. This is not a good example of what we're looking at.
Yep. Okay.
But Oscar will still look around and take that information in a little bit more, I guess. But I'm not expecting any fruit from it.
Okay. So, with you guys like really reaching out to get any more information, you can kind of hop on your horses and head north.
Yeah, I will give that spare tent because I have 2 tents because I picked one up back in another tent. So I'm gonna give one of the tents that I have to them so they at least have another piece of shelter for folks.
Walks over to the guy that was mean bugging him before and says, "I'll pop a tent for you, buddy. Here."
Yeah, here you go. Yeah.
And
like genuinely, he probably would give it to the guy who is like super hesitant about him.
So when
because he'd think that's funny.
When you head back to Brintel for your intel, when you head back to Brintel for the intel, you are of course, have to wait another couple of days, nothing crazy, like 2 days, for the information to come back in from ACs and Sol in that region over there. What you can find out is that the soldiers that were stationed there beforehand are in fact still stationed there. The numbers have not changed, have not gone up, down, or anything like that. How you choose to interpret that from what you experienced down in Strandano, what your experience was in Strandano, and the information that you heard, and then that, it's up to you, of course. I don't know if there's any speculation you want to make now. But before we go any further, if peoples would like, we can actually take a quick little break, and then, go pee and...
I would really like to go pee, yeah.
Yeah.
Big thing.
I mean, I've been holding it so...
So close. So close.
Good.
Well, your daughter learned it from somewhere, so...
Hey!
All right. We're going to take a break in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
18.
Here we go. Hi, everyone.